In the opening scene of this movie, our main character, Baba D, the driver of a wealthy couple, is seen as he's led to the interrogation room in the police station. He is seen explaining to the police officer how things turned out the way they did. He starts on a clean slate to explain the whole story. So, in a flashback, we see Baba D driving his boss Sheyi and his wife in their car. As they head home from the airport, they are having a nice time, chatting happily. Baba D's boss is happy with him. They finally arrive home, and the gate man comes to welcome them, while Baba D throws a salute to his boss. Baba D's boss lives in a very beautiful mansion. As Baba D steps into the apartment with his boss's luggage, he is followed by his boss and his wife, who are impressed with the ambience of the apartment. Baba D's madam asks her husband why his driver is overzealous, talking about Baba D, but the boss defends him by saying Baba D is the most diligent and loyal driver he has ever worked with. Still in the conversation, Baba D comes downstairs and hails his boss as he proceeds outside. He comes back in after a while, sounding excited as he moves the remaining luggage upstairs. His boss's wife loves Baba D's sense of humor, but asks that her husband set boundaries, which he agrees to set. China Gorom the cook walks in, holding a tray of teapot and mug. She is excited to see her boss and his wife. As she drops the tray, they needed to freshen up immediately. They didn't even touch the tray. Big man life, sha. Gorom is preparing the table for a meal, while Baba D inspects it to make sure everything is in place. They are done freshening up and they both walk into the dining room to meet Baba D and Gorom setting the table. Baba D is about to take his leave, but his boss's wife insists he joins them for the meal. They both seem to like Baba D. As they eat, a call comes in from Baba D's daughter. He complains over the phone, revealing that something is not in place. His boss asks him what the issue is. Baba D then relates the issue of his daughter's tuition fees. His boss asks him which university his daughter attends, and he replies, Bangkok. But that's the name of a country, nah. The confusion on the couple's face can't be hidden. Oh, he meant Babcock. Lol. Isn't the school fees on the high side? His boss asks. Well, Baba D's daughter is on a 60% scholarship. He merges it with his savings. Baba D is about to leave when his boss decides to give him some money in hard currency. He prostrates, thanking his boss and showering him with prayers. Baba D returns later that night, trying to find his way into the house and calling out Gorom's name. Suspecting that all is not well, he finds his way to his boss's room and finds the couple tied up. Someone must have found his way into the house. Baba D panics as he calls for help. Baba D's boss and his wife are receiving medical attention from a doctor, just to ensure that they are fine. The boss has sprained his hand. Baba D suggests that they involve the police, but his boss hesitates, claiming he doesn't have the mental strength to deal with corrupt police officers. Well, finally, a police officer is here. Meet Officer Oko, an Americana police officer. He goes ahead with questioning, trying to get information about the incident from the couple. The officer asks who the first person they informed of their arrival is. Well, it was Baba D. That explains how Baba D got to the police custody. So, back to the police station. Baba D is seen in the investigating room with Officer Oko, who accuses him of being the criminal. We then see another flashback. It's a bright and beautiful morning. Baba D's sleep is interrupted by a call from his boss, who informs him of his return, and Baba D and his wife are overwhelmed with joy. Being the first person to know about Baba D's boss return from Baba D's wife is also invited to the station for questioning. His wife defends her husband, expressing funny gestures. Officer Oko is tired of her explanation. He picks up the phone to make a call as Baba D's wife starts grumbling in Yoruba, not having an idea that Officer Oko also speaks Yoruba. Still during the investigation, the security man and the cook are invited to the station for interrogation. The security man defends himself, claiming he went to pray when the incident occurred. It was Gorom's turn to be interrogated. She explains what happened on the night of the robbery. So it happened that she was in the kitchen that night, doing the dishes when armed men broke inside the house. She is terrified and begs for her life. The armed men ask her to lead them to her boss's room, and that was how it happened. At the police station, Gorom is not going to accept a crime she did not commit. She still defends herself. At home, the boss is on the couch using his laptop when his wife walks up to him, asking him why he ordered the release of the suspects. He replies by saying he doesn't want innocent people to go to jail for a mistake he made. This is not going well with his wife as she steps out in anger. Officer Roko lets the suspects out, and Gorom is saying, thanking God that she's finally out. Things get awkward when Officer Roko goes to release Baba D. Officer Roko announces to Baba D that his boss and his wife will be moving back to the UK. Baba D is not happy with this at all. He demands that the police find the thief because he has already informed his family and friends of his boss's return. Momo man. On hearing this, Officer Roko detains him, putting a call through to Baba D's boss. Informing him of Babadi's detention, Officer Roko proceeded with further interrogations with Babadi, persuading him to say who else he told about his boss's arrival, aside from his wife. Instantly, Babadi flashes back and remembers himself telling his neighbor, Junior, of his boss's return. Junior is an unemployed graduate who studied law. He is invited for questioning at the station. He defends himself and is eventually freed. He is innocent. Next, we see Babadi in public transport, as he was singing the praises of his boss to the hearing of other passengers on the bus. The other passengers are amazed at the niceness of Babadi's boss, as the driver makes a funny statement, and he is now wanted as a suspect. A group of police officers storm the motor park where the driver is trying to load passengers, with Babadi, who is now handcuffed. Babadi points out to the driver. On seeing Olopa, that is, uniformed men, the driver tries to escape, but is eventually caught and arrested. The driver is brought into the investigating room. He testifies that he has 11 children and an extra 3 children not from his wife. Ah, Oga, are you running a football team? Anyways, the man is investigated and is confirmed innocent. The matter done is serious, so Babadi has to reveal who the real suspect is, as all previous investigations have ended in a deadlock. Babadi remembers an estate officer he told about his boss's arrival. The estate security officer is also invited for questioning. Man, this officer ain't smiling, oh. He doesn't have a hand in the robbery. He is freed too, as he is innocent. We see Babadi talking with Musa, the security man, about his boss's arrival. He also goes ahead to inform Gorom, who was cleaning the house. Musa and Gorom are invited once again to the station for another session of questioning. Musa is first interrogated, and he still claims innocence. Gorom is also interrogated, and she reveals that she told her mother, who is in the hospital and is mentally ill. Could Gorom be the suspect? Babadi's wife is bothered about her husband's arrest and is lamenting to Junior about Babadi's condition. A woman shows up and Babadi's wife pretends she wasn't saying anything. Next, we see Babadi drive to a vulcanizer's workshop. They are seen discussing, and the vulcanizer is now held as a suspect. In the interrogation room, the vulcanizer testifies that he knows Babadi as a loyal customer. The vulcanizer tells Officer Oko how Babadi revealed his boss's return to him. After narrating the story, Officer Oko proceeds with the investigation, and the vulcanizer is confirmed innocent. The next scene introduces Babadi driving into a filling station. The fuel attendant is also a suspect, as we see in a rethink, Babadi telling her about his Oga's arrival. While on the phone with Babadi's madam, the next suspect is brought in. We see in a rethink Babadi telling the attendant about his Oga's arrival. The fuel attendant is thoroughly investigated. She is not taking it easy with Officer Oko at all. She is confirmed innocent and is eventually freed too. Ah, Babadi. Babadi's madam comes to the station and requests to see Babadi just to know if she can get any information from him. Officer Oko orders that they bring Babadi to his office. Once Babadi comes, Officer Oko excuses, leaving Babadi and his madam in the office. Babadi's madam tries interrogating him to get a little information from him. Babadi still says he doesn't know anything about the robbery. Babadi leaves the office and Officer Oko returns. He still holds Babadi as a prime suspect and tells Babadi's madam not to worry. They are going to crack him up and he will speak. Babadi's madam is driving home when she has a rethink. She makes a call to Officer Oko as she heads back to the station. As soon as she lands in the police station, Officer Oko rushes out of his office to the cell where Babadi is locked up. The way Officer Oko starts drilling him, he's persuading Babadi to tell him the truth. Babadi's madam, together with Officer Oko and Babadi himself, drive to the estate. The estate security officers have been given strict instructions not to let Babadi into the estate because they claimed he is a suspect. But Officer Oko requests to see the CSO. They all head to Babadi's boss's house. Just as they get to the house, Babadi starts explaining what happened on that day. So it happened that on the day the robbery occurred, we see Babadi leaving the house to go and change the money his boss had just given him. On his way out, he meets Onwanyaun, a member of the estate maintenance team. They get talking, when eventually Babadi brings out the money his boss had given him, flaunting it before Onwanyaun and telling him that the pounds were gifted to him by his Oga. Ah, mess up. He also tells him that he's heading to the Bureau de Change to change the money. Just as Babadi leaves, Onwanyaun brings out his phone and makes a call to his guys, informing them of what Babadi told him. So, Onwanyaun is our new suspect. Onwanyaun is arrested and brought to the station. On getting there, Babadi is expressing his shock as he feels Onwanyaun betrayed him. Onwanyaun keeps saying, "It's the work of the devil. Devil bao." Babadi's wife and Junior are sitting outside and discussing when Baba D returns. His wife gets up to welcome him. He's been through a lot of stress in the past few days. He just quietly walks into the house. The next day, Baba D's boss and his wife are having a conversation. Baba D's boss doesn't want him to leave, but then his wife is not going to take this. She tries convincing her husband why Baba D shouldn't work for them anymore, and the boss is left with no option but to stick to his wife's opinion. Meanwhile, Baba D is at his boss's house to apologize for what he has cost them in the last few days. He overhears the couple's conversation from upstairs and just knows he can't continue to work there anymore. His boss gives him the final verdict of their decision. Baba D breaks down in tears as he salutes his special oga. I felt sorry for Baba D here. He's about to leave when his boss calls him back and hands him the money he forgot at work on the day of the incident. Gorom and Musa are in tears as they hug Baba D, telling him how much they will miss him. Next, we see that the couple has gotten a new driver. His wife seems to be vibing with this new driver, but that's not the case for her husband. The man is just busy minding his business. Baba D and his wife are on the phone talking with their daughter, Angel. As soon as Baba D drops the call, Junior knocks on the door, rushing into the house to announce to Baba D and his wife that he has gotten a job and is thankful to Baba D for his small talk. Another knock is heard on the door, and guess what? It's his madam. She came to inform him that he has gotten back his job. Baba D has learnt his lesson and is happy he has his job back. Anyways, Nwanyanwu is convicted for theft, and that's where we draw the curtain for this amazing movie. No cap, MC Macaroni and Lasisi Elenu did a great job in this movie.